WJR.
Welcome into National City Roundtable, you wise folks who come to WJR.com. We appreciate it. I'm Paul W. Smith with you Monday through Friday mornings on 760 on the AM dial, WJR, and of course, right here at WJR.com. Our co-host for the National City Roundtable, the president of Michigan Northwest Ohio Banking National City Corporation, Cleveland, Ohio, the base, David Boyle. David, nice to see you.
Morning, Paul W. Good to be here.
I hope everything is well with you.
Doing well.
It is especially appropriate that we have as our very special guest the president and CEO of the Detroit Regional Chamber, Mr. Dick Blouse.
Morning,
The
Paul.
svelte, tanned, and thin Dick Blouse, looking very good. Dick, nice to see you.
Good to see you.
The reason I say that it's appropriate to David is because last year, about this time, or soon about this time, you made your debut as the president of National City at Mackinac as a first-timer. What do you remember? What were some of your observances of this, what will now be the 2008 conference that's coming up there at Mackinac very soon?
Well, when I got here, Paul, that one of the things that it was recommended that I try to do is get to Mackinac, and I did, and I actually went up there more as a networking opportunity than I did really to learn anything. But after spending some time in the breakout sessions and so forth, it was readily apparent that there's a lot of energy around wanting to get something done and get things done here in Southeast Michigan. The challenge, as I've come to find, is actually transitioning the thoughts and ideas and energy from Mackinac back to Southeast Michigan to actually affect change. And that's kind of what we're here to talk about today.
Yeah, that was always a bit of a problem. We would talk about and even solve a bunch of issues and problems while we were on the island. They didn't always make it over, either, I guess, in one of the boats. Or the water kind of separated us from bringing those things home with us. But there's been a big move to change all of that. And Dick Blouse, certainly you're aware of that. You're familiar with that. And it's got to be a positive feeling for you.
Yes, it is. We hear that every year, Paul W., and actually some of it is deserved, some of it is not deserved. For example, as you look back to last year, there were quite a few things that were teed up and discussed that have been addressed this year.
And
Cafe is
Dennis
one,
Archer,
Western Hemisphere Travel Initiative, our logistics hubbing project that we'll probably talk more about today really kind of originated out of some of the Airtropolis discussion last year. So what is difficult, though, to come out of there and to affect change are things like discussions around race relations and regional cooperation, transit. I mean, these things just seem to linger, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do. But I'm glad that we stopped. I remember one year we had the hats and stuff. I don't know what's Darda hats, and we have solved the mass transit issue in Detroit. I'll look forward to solving it again next year. It was kind of like year to year to year we would do that, and that kind of got to be a little ridiculous. It became one of our jokes. But the fact of the matter is, there's always been change, and there's always been good things that have come from this conference, period. That's a fact. It's just that some of the ones that we have, some of the problems we have are very big problems, and I hate to even mention the race relations. That's just, we're not going to solve that.
No,
it's just, it can't be done. We've tried, and it's not going to be done at a conference over a weekend. Just not going to happen that way. But there are things that do happen, and I'd like to know, if you would, Dick Blouse, the top issues that you think will be addressed at this year's conference, that we will have some good luck with and good fortune in solving some of these problems and issues or addressing them.
Well, just tying on to our previous conversation, we come back and we say, well, how can we process this in a way that we walk out with more of an agenda at the end of the meeting? And so this year's conference, for the first time, really took that to heart. And building on our theme, which is building a stronger Michigan, we went out and we did some polling of our business community. to ask them those questions. What are the key issues that you're facing in this state as far as trying to do your business, trying to grow your business? And what would you like to see us talking about? We also did focus groups. Building off of the polling data we got, we then went into focus groups and started to narrow it more down. And then from that, we're going to the conference this year, actually talking about subjects that people in a pre-conference process said were important. So we are going to be talking about healthcare. We're going to be talking about alternative energy. We're going to talk about term limits. Quite frankly, that came up time and time again. And then during the conference, people up there are going to get a chance to drill down more. We're going to, through the various sessions, they'll get a chance to hear that and then vote on what they see as the top priorities. And when we leave that conference, we're going to have the foundation of an agenda around 3 or 4 topics, and then the next step is implementation. So we should be able to measure results.
Yeah, I kind of sensed that last year, and the feedback that I got before I went was much like we talked. We go up, we talk about things, but nothing comes back. My experience was a little different, and I agree. There are some great things that came out of last year's
last
conference.
year, because, again, I say, and he just said it on my morning radio show the other day, Dennis Archer, because we'd had this conversation in one of our meetings with the chamber folks, and we all said, this is all great. We accomplish a lot there, but we need to have a follow-up. We need to grade ourselves or check or report midway through, not wait till the next conference to see how we're doing. And that kind of put everybody on notice and on their toes, and there has been tremendous follow-through, and there will continue to be, I'm sure. I'll bet you $1. One of the things that will be talked about, Dick, will be business owners who are blown away by this fixed business tax that all of a sudden is 100% more than they ever paid, or in some cases 300%, 400%, 500% more than they've ever paid. And they're going, wait a minute, how's this helping me? How's this going to help the state? That's got to be one of the things.
Yeah, that whole thing got very convoluted with the surcharge. Actually, we were involved in the original Michigan business tax discussions. And then if you remember, we had a service tax bestowed on us, and the uproar of that was so great that it had to be replaced with something else. And unfortunately, I talked to law firms that say, well, I'm seeing just a bit of a saving, and I talked to the next law firm that sees a 3 and 4 times increase in their taxes. And no matter what anybody tells you, Paul W., it might not be the deciding factor, but taxes go into the formula as companies make decisions on where to locate or whether they stay here or relocate somewhere else. There's a lot of other things. Building a workforce is important. We're in competition right now on a project, and you have Georgia offering to train the whole workforce free. That's another deciding factor. But taxes are there, and we're going to start monitoring that. We have now embedded a staff person into that process in Lansing. We have an individual whose job is to be at every discussion relative to the budget, to anything dealing with appropriations. It's a very complicated thing, but we believe that we got to get there, and we got to see where we can make the cuts.
I've had a number of customers not just criticize the tax itself, but actually criticize how complicated it is and how difficult it is to figure it out. They may save a little bit of money on the tax, but they're spending 3 and 4 and 5 times as much as they used to have to spend just to have it calculated, because there are so many different exemptions, deductions, add-backs, and so forth in the tax that it's so burdensome that they're as frustrated as I've seen in my short 15 months here.
We took a dysfunctional SBT and created another dysfunctional tax.
We were able to somehow, at the last minute, replace it with something worse. I mean, it was just, we'll have to deal with that.